baby, we're back again for a little bit of a live stream action. I do suspect that this particular live stream is going to be a little bit more on the shorter side, still kind of recovering from whatever the hell illness that I have had. It's actually been very, very minor, but just playing it safe before tomorrow's big event. Anyways, I see Caretaker's in here right now. Good morning to you, sir. I know that you probably haven't even slept this night already, so Godspeed, God fucking speed, man. I see a lot of familiar faces in here as well. John, Metal Slime Drummer, Alex McLaren. I even saw a first-time commenter. Someone said, I think it was Yap Kramer, says, long-time lurker, first-time commenter. Well, welcome to the cave, sir, or I guess welcome formally, verbally. Anyways, Alex McLaren says, Kramer said he gave up on Bitcoin. Interesting. Jesus, man. I mean, I don't know how much I trust his word with anything, to be honest, but fair enough. If he's given up, I suppose that is not the worst thing in the world. I think a lot of people have probably given up if they haven't already, especially even this past week with Bitcoin coming down nearly $20,000, pumping back up nearly $15,000, and then doing it again. It's like just fucking crazy, man. But that's why we love it. That's why we love it. Just these massive fucking moves that seem to materialize to nowhere, and then everything happens all at once, and then it's back to waiting for the next few months. That's really what it does feel like to trade Bitcoin. It's a lot of waiting. V-shaped recovery, says Michael Blast. I don't know if I'd call this a V-shaped recovery, at least on the daily. I don't know, maybe on a weekly. You could make that argument. If Bitcoin does essentially confirm a reversal, I would say by this week's end, then yeah, I'd call that a V reversal. But I don't think that that's what's happening here, to be honest. And I want to massively reiterate my concerns coming into tomorrow. Like my concerns. But tomorrow is an event, and historically events have not been good for not just Bitcoin, but pretty much all fucking assets. So unless if something like truly monumental is announced tomorrow, like Trump comes out and he says, look, we're having a Bitcoin reserve. We're not just going to be holding all the seized Bitcoin that we had, but we're going to literally start to buy Bitcoins on Coinbase and transfer it to a ledger that I'll keep in the desk of the White House in the Oval Office. It's like, okay. And then we're going to make Bitcoin the national currency. It's like, holy shit. Okay. Well, that seems like it might change a few things, but I'm always going to be very, 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 very risk averse and very skeptical coming into an event like we have tomorrow. So today's video is going to be a little bit more of the same, but we will go over some more short and medium term price action for Bitcoin. And, I've been also stating this as well, in the past, I guess week or so now, which is, look, even if Bitcoin's low is not in right now, it's very likely already very close in terms of price to the low, maybe not necessarily in terms of time. And, while I do think that Bitcoin can come back down here again, it's very possible that, just retest a low, maybe a slightly higher low, but anywhere around there, as we went over in yesterday's video, is fine. At least in my opinion, it's fine. The ideal buy zone for me for long-term, long positions would be somewhere between these two major moving averages right here. Very happy in these regions again for long-term holding sort of stuff. For actual long-term long positions, well, we've gone over the very specific criteria that I'm looking for before I really start to entertain that as well viable. Anyways, Big Boy George says, I'm so long, you can call me Mandingo. Hello, Mandingo. Good to see you. The King Brewer says Sailor was saying that's what he wants. That's what Sailor wants, or that's what Trump wants, because those are two very different things. I'm very aware that Sailor is not shy in kind of speaking the praises of Bitcoin and pumping things up. Emmanuel B says, Elsa, you're so sexy. I agree. She is. You have good taste, sir. Pegless says tomorrow is Friday. Yes, indeed. That's why I'm very concerned right now, because coming into that event, that is where you do expect the action to happen. I don't think we're going to see any break of the current range until that event at minimum. And that's essentially what we have seen with Bitcoin traveling to both sides of that range in what feels like every fucking day. Don't Google Mandingo. Why not? Should I do it on this stream? Hey, Mandingo is my name, says a dingo ate my Satoshis. Holy shit. That was some fucking clever thinking right there. How could he have such a perfect username for such an occasion? It can't. This can't be happening right now. Gooner in chat. I don't know what Gooner means, to be honest, but my corns have returned, says Joe Harrell. We'll give it some time here for people to join in. I do expect that today's videos or today's live stream is going to be, again, shorter. And then also, I don't expect too many people. One, because Bitcoin's been, for the average person, very boring recently. And then two, we're having this live stream on a day that I don't typically do live streams. In the future, it's going to be Tuesday and Friday, but this week is just different because, well, I've had a different schedule this week, unfortunately. Look at Pulse Chain, says C-Perk. Nice try, but not today. Nice try. Friday sell the news expected, so we pumping. That's what I hear every time. That's what I hear every time. Doesn't mean that every time is going to work out like that, but if I have to be a betting man, I'm gonna bet on that, just because that is the higher probability thing to happen. What's up, Mr. Filson? Reporting for duty. Good morning to you as well, sir. I'm actually reporting for duty in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 right now. I'm having the best time stealing everything, being a fucking deviant, man. I go to the bathhouse, I have sex with the whores, then I steal the money back and steal everything else in the town and then leave. I haven't done any killing, so it's not that bad, but anyways, before we get into it, I'll tell a quick story as well. When we were in Tampa, just like about a week and a half ago, I took Elsa to see her first professional hockey game ever. Elsa's from Finland. I guess she never really was interested in hockey because it's quite popular here, but she had never seen anything like this before ever. And she goes there. We're going to a Tampa Bay Lightning game, and the fucking crowd is like really into it, and it's actually like a great atmosphere. And she loves it. And she's all of a sudden she starts drinking, and all of a sudden she starts having like the best time. Seeing everyone dancing around, and also when goals were scored, holy shit, man, you've never seen a girl scream so loud. Like, it was the best fucking day of her life, better than fucking Disneyland, I think. No, anyways, no. Elf says no. Fair enough. The Real Harshan says, Krown, I've been watching you since 2020 and you've helped me tremendously. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully it was a positive influence. You can never be too sure, though. Yeah, man, Kingdom Come Deliverance too. It's a very interesting name to choose for a game. Yeah, Tampa. It was Tampa versus Seattle Kraken, something like that. I think that their opponent wasn't the best team of all time, but yeah. While waiting for you have cyclones. You have cyclones in Australia. What the fuck even is a cyclone? Is that different than no, not a hurricane, tornado? Is a tornado and cyclone the same thing? I need to ask ChatGPT. This is a question for Grok. All right. What is the difference between a tornado and cyclone? I don't even hear the word cyclone like almost ever. Okay, they are both catastrophes. A tornado is a rapidly rotating column of air. Okay, yes, I know that one. A cyclone is a large-scale weather system characterized by low pressure at its center and rotating winds. In meteorology, a cyclone is a broad term that can refer to different phenomena. Okay, so it's not really clear with that. I'm more confused than when I started. That was not very helpful. Grok, god damn it. Like a hurricane, but in opposite spin. Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, that actually makes a lot more sense, or at least the definition I can visualize there, which is good. Yeah, like hurricane, but opposite spin. Got it. Same as a typhoon. Yeah, all these sort of things are stuff that I don't want anything to do with, to be honest. But anyways, Joey Lepeau says, been watching every day since 2020 and now I have AIDS. Nice. All right. I'm glad to hear that as well. Jesus, man. Boo cake, says John. And Joe Harrell says, gotta used unhinged mode. Yeah. Have you tried the unhinged mode on Grok, sir? Elsa has not just yet. I need to show it to her because she has no idea what it is. She has no idea what will happen. But goddamn, I think she'll have the best time with it. I'll have to show you a little bit later. Anyways, sharks, yeah, sharks as well. I just want to read a few more of these as well, and then we'll get into the actual TA. What, does Florida have sharks? Yeah, Florida has sharks. I mean, didn't you notice there's fucking shark teeth all over the beach? Like,
Oh yeah.
but they're small sharks. They're little baby sharks. They're not gonna harm a fool. Um, Got to tell Grok to make it simple since you're a simple boy. That's exactly right, Guitar Wizard. That's exactly right. What's up, Mr. Crypto Clown World? What's up, Crowny? Why art thou gay? I was born this way, and that's just the way that it is, sir. So get with the program. Long-time lurker, first-time commenter as well. This market has me feeling like an abused circus animal. I think a lot of people feel that way. But that's why we love Bitcoin. It's like an abusive relationship. I mean, obviously, this is very abusive. But you know, you fall in love with the emotional aspect of it because it is so strong. All of these moves can make a grown man cry. No, but you know what I mean. It is the sort of just absurd amount of movement that you can get in price that just creates strong emotions in anyone. I mean, it's just a human fucking thing. Anyways. Pizzino brothers are in it. The Cyclone, the Pizzano. Don't think you spelled that right, but nice. Happy Ash Wednesday. God bless everybody. Is it Ash Wednesday? Well, happy Ash Wednesday to you and all the celebrators out there in the world. Anyways, I'll get through the analysis today. Like I said, it's not going to be super long, but there are a few interesting points, I suppose, especially leading into tomorrow's event. I'll just go over here really quickly. We'll actually start it off on this chart today. In yesterday's video, we were speaking about the importance of an event coming up on Friday, that being the Crypto Summit, which is going to be very interesting, at least in the way that I think about things, because almost always, nearly every time that there is an event, it is a sell the news type of event. So this event coming up has a lot of hype behind it, has a lot of hopium and dreams behind it as well. So it is kind of ripe for another one of those instances, especially as Bitcoin charges back up, towards the top side of the, of this weekly range that we've had for the past 7 to 10 days now. So, those sort of conditions in my experience are always a cause for skepticism and concern. And again, I just want to reiterate, I'm not interested in trading fucking Bitcoin until that event happens, because I would not be surprised to see, a move in the opposite direction. Now, of course, until that event happens, however, I really wouldn't be expecting Bitcoin to trade outside of this range. Again, 95 to the upside versus basically 80 to the downside. But upon tomorrow's event, all hell can break loose for better or worse. Now, looking at some daily statistics, at least for, today's price action, we can see, Jesus, man, my screen's getting a little bit too convoluted here. We can see a couple things. One, Thursday, slightly in favor of negative closures since 2025 began. And Friday, actually a little bit more in favor in positive closures. A lot of events have been happening on Friday. It's been like a crypto Friday here, which is kind of strange. But as far as the short term goes, Thursday average returns on both the on both the gaining and losing side, 2.03 versus 1.69 respectively. And you can see that Bitcoin has essentially hit the top side of that expected range, or the average range you would be looking at for Thursday, with the wick up to about $92,500. And of course, to the downside, I do think it would be limited today as well. I think at worst case scenario, you might see a move back down to the bottom end of this region here, which is going to be 89,000 and a few change. But ultimately, I don't think that we're going to get anything of significance, at least today. Tomorrow, there's a chance. There's actually a very high chance. And I'd really go off and say that look, as long as unless if Trump really comes out and announces at this crypto summit that, we're not just going to start a Bitcoin reserve, but we're actually going to the US government is going to start to buy Bitcoins. And then maybe they also make Bitcoin the reserve currency, or sorry, not the reserve currency, but an official recognized currency in the United States, that would be a big deal. But if it's going to be an event where they tell us what we kind of already know and what the expectations already are, well, you run into a very high probable situation that it is going to be a sell the news event. Anyways, on that note, I did want to point out here on the daily HPDRO, shout out to Caretaker for this one. We are seeing the daily HPDRO representing directional volatility get quite high here. Jesus, man, I can barely talk. I don't know what the hell this illness is doing to me, but it's destroying my vocal projections. But yeah. You can see it right here. It is technically at 54, a read of positive 54 versus the last few spikes in this region, which have been a little bit higher than that, a little bit closer to 60. But all of these spikes, if we look at price action, are going to correlate extremely well with highs. High right there, high right there, high right, right there. I mean, this was effectively the same high, so I guess I don't really have to count that multiple times, but 1, 2, 3 times is how to count that. And we are already seeing the HPDO get very close to that same region. Yes, it would imply that, maybe there's another step up towards that region first, but this has been a pretty damn good indication during these times. Sorry, let me get rid of this one. That's not relevant to the current conversation. No, it is this one right here. That's the one that I was looking for. Yeah. Anyways, my point is that this current rally, it does have some technical signs of losing a bit of momentum or likely coming into an area that has been, disastrous for the past 2 months. No, sorry, going on almost 3 months, as that first high was over here on December 17th. So yeah, this has been nearly a 3-month trend at this point. And so to me, that means to, pay attention to it, especially as Bitcoin, as of right now, still has a lower high compared to Monday's high. Sunday's high. Now, I do want to also reiterate that one of my major criteria for kind of flipping around and saying, hey, upside is like inbound, and you're probably going to see $100,000 plus very soon, would be any sort of a daily closure above Sunday's high. That would essentially confirm this is a reversal to me with a higher low in between and a higher high. So that would bring the daily back up into an uptrend, and I'd be looking for a quick move into the shallow $100,000 territory. But again, that's well and far away right now, and I will continue to reiterate this until Friday's event. I personally will be very skeptical. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but that's just one of my rules, based off of, history. So anyways, moving on from there, I did also want to go over, yes, a little bit of hopium here, let's go over a little bit of hopium. I wanted to follow up on the daily Metasignals signal for Bitcoin. This one, again, firing off at about 87,250. First target has actually already been reached at $91,500. Second target is 95,600, which again is very interesting because that is essentially Sunday's high. Again, we need to see Bitcoin really close above there if you want to be like super, super exact, although, more aggressive people will just wait for like a tick above if that condition does happen at all. But we also happen to know that the target 2 probabilities are around about 50% for this particular time frame on Metasignals. So I would be looking at that as, well, it's obviously a coin flip, but the high probability move has already happened. So if things do start to get it back above there, I mean, at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if target 3 does get hit eventually down the road. Maybe it takes a couple of weeks, but that would be Bitcoin at new all-time highs, actually. So I do think that does deserve at least a little bit of recognition. I mean, that target 1 nearly always gets hit. It does have a close to 70% probability, and it is typically a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So if you did take that trade, which you could have got free signals in their Metasignals Discord, which there's a link to in the description below, just getting out at target 1, in my opinion, is probably the right idea. Again, especially with an event coming up a little bit later. But hey, the probabilities are what the probabilities are. And of course, before we move on, or before we end this one, I do want to again reiterate, if I haven't already, that while I do think that Bitcoin has a pretty good chance to come back down sometime after Friday. Again, assuming that tomorrow's event is not like a groundbreaking sort of revelation. I don't think Bitcoin's going to go that much further down than its current low. The current low at around $78,000. Now, can Bitcoin come down to like 74, 75? Sure. But to me, that's not very far away. If you're very long-term thinking in terms of long-term investments, which I'm starting to switch more into myself, That's fine. That's fucking fine. You don't need to be perfect to make a shit ton of money is what I'll keep on repeating. Could Bitcoin come a little bit lower to 70,000? Sure. Yeah. But I really wouldn't be expecting if Bitcoin is indeed bullish over the long term, I wouldn't be expecting, significantly lower than where it's currently at, or where it currently got to on last Friday. Again, just a little bit below $80,000. So, it's like how cute do you want to get? And also, I should say that while I do think it's close in terms of price, it might not be in terms of time. So timing aspect is a little bit different, obviously. But when we go over here, and I believe we spoke about this very briefly on yesterday's video, but I'll just call it out once again. When we go over here to the 10-day time frame for the HPDRO, we can actually look at some extreme reads that have correlated incredibly well with the major lows of this current cycle. And for this current cycle, we've seen in August 2023 and July 2024, these reads be met here around, not necessarily like a critical zone because it doesn't necessarily operate like that, but extremes, I would say, below -50 for the HPDRO, again, representing directional volatility. And those have correlated with essentially the low. Yes, in some cases, the timing of that, not perfect. I mean, in this particular example, it does come back down close to that prior low. But in terms of the actual low, yeah, it was essentially in this one over here, not perfectly on the low. That was one closure after that. But again, in terms of price, like very fucking close to it. And what do you know? In this current instance on the 10-day time frame, which is not closing today, it's going to be closing in actually 5 days from today. So this one's only halfway there. But as of right now, we've already seen that level hit or a comparable level hit to what we have seen on all of the major higher lows for this current bull market. And as of right now, the HPDRO is already turning up. So if that continues to have a positive slope coming into the next closure, which will again happen in 5 days, then I look at that as, another good sign that, look, I don't, if it does come down a little bit lower than its current low, I don't think it's going to be by a whole hell of a lot. I think it's going to be like less than a 10% move, which can be a lot, of course, if you are highly over leveraged and just gambling. But, if you're thinking more long term, if you're thinking a little more reasonable, if you're thinking spot, if you're thinking, again, multi-year long holds, I definitely don't hate that area. Anyways. That's where I'll leave things for today's video. Again, just a long message to kind of state the obvious, which is tomorrow's event is what decides everything. I really wouldn't be making any major decisions until then. I would treat this as very likely or high probability sell the news event until proven otherwise. And I'm very open to being proven otherwise. But if you could tell me, if you disagree with that statement, if you could tell me the last time that we have seen an event that was not a sell the news event, then I would be happy to hear you out. But that's where I'll leave things for today. As always, wish you the best. Take care. And see you in the next one. Very nice. All right. Got that one through. Felt like my brain was breaking halfway through as well. It's not good, man. Just getting a little bit of sick just completely fucking kills me, man. Anyways, Freed says, "Hey, Krown, can you check my prostate on the 4-hour? No problem, sir. It seems like you have some lovely lady lumps in your fucking ball sack, which is not the place you want to be having them in." Anyways, I see one super chat here. He's asking about, I actually lost the name, but he's asking about the quantum wave bands. How have they done? And I can show you right here. Quantum wave bands on the hourly for Bitcoin, which in my opinion is probably the better one. It actually has done pretty well here, especially over the last week and a half. It has taken some losses, obviously. Nothing's going to be perfect, but let's just kind of zero in on it. We have it's actually in an open trade right now from $88,500. I wouldn't mind closing that one here for greater than $3,000 gain. But hey, the algo is what the algo is. There was an open here on this past Monday, which did close positively. The one before that was a fail. The one before that was a big win. Max take profit there hit. This one over here, small win, but nice. This one over here, decent win. This one over here, loss. This one over here, small loss. This one over here, also loss. So it did struggle on that initial move down from about $96,000. But I can understand that. I mean, that is a change of behavior for price there. So of course, most strategies are gonna suffer during that. This one over here, basically a wash, maybe small win, maybe small small loss. This one over here, big win. This one over here, yeah, a bunch of nice small scalps, but profitable nonetheless. Now you can see that it did take a nice dump off, I imagine, with price there. So it was certainly not immune from the downside action, but it has recovered that pretty rapidly thus far. And as far as the equity curve goes, it's still more or less flat over the past couple weeks there. So I look at that as a win during a time like this. During a time like this, in my opinion, is not like a money making time. It's more of a capital preservation time, waiting around for the easier opportunities, the easier moves. Can we expect a strategic dildo reserve soon? No, man, I'm keeping that one for myself, mostly in my Angus. L. Kyle says, good day to you and Elsa. Do you guys sauna there in Finland? We actually have a sauna in our condo, and I use it every day because I fucking love it, man. I really do. Do I think it's better than your parent? Yeah, it is. It is a better sauna than your parents. I mean, it's just a fact. It's not that I hate there. It's just, it is fucking better one. It's really good. Anyways, I'll read through a few more of these as well, and then we'll probably call it a day. But SA says it's expected he'll announce no tax for crypto or something like that. That would be pretty epic. I mean, like, that should be a bullish catalyst. But yeah, I don't know. It's too subjective to analyze these events, so I'm just going to go with the probabilities. My take is, you have an event, doesn't matter what the event is, it's almost always sell the news. So I'm going to always lean in that direction, just because that's what happens more often than not. And like I said, can anyone? I'm not saying this as like a combative thing, but can anyone in the chat right now list me an event that was expected to be bullish and also was bullish, producing long-term upside price action from that event? If someone can actually remind me of when that's happened, perhaps that'll help me maybe put a little bit more of my bull goggles on. But for right now, I do think it's just a better time to be a little bit more hands-off. Anyways, Mexican Righteous says, love the sauna. How many minutes do you stay in the sauna? I try to do about 40 to 50 minutes, or sometimes an hour, depending upon my day. But I just love being in there. I fucking love being in there. Sometimes I put on a podcast. Sometimes I will read Twitter, which is probably not great for my mental health. But it's like my special time of the day where, where I kind of just do nothing for almost an hour, and it's actually very nice. It's very, very nice. Helps me reset. And you when you're in the sauna, you feel some type of way, like you really do, because you are experiencing a low level exercise almost, because you're it's very hot, your heart starts pounding, you're sweating. Like there's certainly a lot of benefits to it in my experience. Precious says, it helps me to think about price, like walking into a store, having a sale, seeing 5 to 10% off sale doesn't mean shit. 20 to 30% off is more meaningful to your wallet. Yeah, I'd agree with you, especially if you're thinking, long-term investments. Again, this is a game that I've just been getting into, in the past few years. But with long-term investments, sure, that makes sense to me. It's like, you don't need to be perfect with that if you're already planning on holding for 3, 5, 10 years. I mean, with Bitcoin, probably going to be fine. With shitcoins, then you might have a problem, but you could probably trade a bounce 20 to 30% down. Things typically don't move more than that in one fucking drop off. But yeah, anyways, I see we have Hubris to God. He's looking at Doggy on the monthly. Doggy on the monthly, huh? Guess we'll do a few of these. Resting on the 21. It's going to live and die with Bitcoin, of course. But give it a chance here, give it a chance is what I'd say. But look, if you see it come back down below Tuesday's low tomorrow, that is a breakdown. And right now, all major moving averages are switching into a bearish posturing. So it quite literally, in my opinion, it quite literally needs to salvage itself by the end of this week. And what do I mean by salvage itself? Ideally, get back above Sunday's high. Could probably say the same thing for most shitcoins, to be honest. You are coming off of some major moving averages here and haven't really seen like a real bounce. I mean, yes, there was this quick move to the upside, but not like a queer swing. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's 33% move. Okay, maybe it has. If it does come back down below Tuesday's low, at that point, have to be looking towards mid-teens. But until then, you are coming off of some major moving averages. I don't like being short in this region. I also don't like being long into an event like tomorrow. So that's just, it's probably not very helpful, but my opinion would be, yes, you have a case here if you're bullish, but just be aware of tomorrow's event, man. If it switches around, it'll be fast, of course. You're also asking about Tesla. I guess we can do too, just because today's going to be very, very quiet and probably a much shorter stream as well. Looking at Tesla, again, I think that you're bouncing here. I think you can very easily bounce up towards, 315, 320 in the coming week or two. Doesn't really do too much for me. Long term, I haven't really changed my opinion on this. It's found its low around 260. That's exactly what we said. Found it a little bit faster than what my LARP lines kind of projected over here, but that's fine. I do think that your next move is a bounce. Bounce could be anywhere between 315 on the lower end to maybe like 335 on the upper end, and then come back to it after that. I mean, that's too far away at this point. Oops, get the fuck off my chart. Anyways, Crypto Shart says, can please check my bunghole for Tootsie Rolls XRP USD? Yes, the Tootsie Roll coin. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon your disposition, XRP is one of the biggest beneficiaries of a Trump presidency, which is not something that I was expecting to see, to be honest, but apparently they make very big contributions. Anyways, literally in the middle of its, of its past week's range. I don't again, coming into an event like tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does swing back down around $2 to retest around there. Do I think it's going to break down though? Maybe, but probably not. Maybe, but probably not. I don't feel too confident about that. It is still above the monthly 5. So yeah, I don't want to get too bearish as long as it's above these sort of things. If it does come down, maybe it retests Tuesday's low, maybe it makes a slightly new low, but I don't think you're going to be going much lower than that, to be honest. I'm wondering if pattern traders would call this a head and shoulders. I don't think that I would. It's a little bit too weird looking. Yeah, I don't see anything that's obvious here that I feel very comfortable with. There's only one thing. It's on the 5-day time frame. You do have a potential for hidden bullish divergence to be confirmed actually today. So if it does close above if it closes here or higher, you will confirm that hidden bullish divergence. And I guess at that point, I kind of have to have an upside bias, but I don't like using technicals right before an event again like tomorrow. So you can see some reasons there to like it, but and I don't necessarily think that it's going to be like a big loser here or anything like that. I just think there might be another threat of a retest of the lows. Kind of similar to Bitcoin. Does it make a slightly new low? Does it go somewhere around the low? I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be that far from the low. Again, FTX collapse was bullish. It was actually not. Well, yeah, but that's not a news event though. That's just an event. That's an event that happened, and that's a bearish event. And a bearish event typically produce bullish outcomes, right? Whereas bullish events or expected events produce bearish outcomes. I mean, then tomorrow's event is not a bearish event, unfortunately. So yeah, will you give a birthday shout out to my brother Holden Tudix? Holden Tudix, happy birthday, man. I don't know how old you are, but hopefully old enough to watch this video here. Otherwise, what the fuck, man? Hubris the God says, thanks, all good, man. Head and shoulders, knees and toes. Yeah, I probably would not call that a head and shoulders. Like I said, I see some bullish indications there, but nothing super interesting to me. Generally, if you're thinking more long term, I'd play it like this. Look, as long as it's above the red moving average, I'm not going to be like super bearish or anything like that. That is where you expect trending higher lows to come in around. Does it retest around there? Perhaps yes, but I don't think you're going to be breaking down there or below there like this month. But if it happens, then I'm wrong and whatever. Probably not so bad for me, but a lot worse for you. But yeah, it's like when I go to the higher term timeframes, I don't like it as much, but I'm really struggling on this one. I should probably just say I don't know, because I can make a case both ways. I don't like trusting bullish signals coming into an event like tomorrow. That's what I keep on coming back to. So that's what that's where I'll leave it at as well. What's up, Mr. Bear Nutrition? Good morning to you as well. Holden two dicks. Holden two dicks. Holden two dicks. I see what you did there, sir. Very clever. Presence at Success Tech Hub. Yeah, I think, cheers from Chicago. Good morning to you. Or it's probably evening there right now. We need to bring back Don King, Einstein hair crown. He used to trade. I remember that guy. Yeah, man. That was many moons ago. And unfortunately, I don't even have the capacity to grow hair like that anymore. My hair is falling out. It's not growing. It's falling out. Tarun Rana says, Krown, can you do Nifty for weekly? Sure. I think we'll end on this one as well. NIFTY, the Nifty 50. Bounce. It's come back down to these prior major lows from 2024. I think you're going to bounce here. Yes, it's a downtrend, but I think that you've very likely hit a swing low here. Now you're going to pop back up and probably find your next swing high. You have a very obvious gap at 22,750. So, very likely a move in the relative short term around there. Just a pullback after that and then try higher. I think so. If it gets around 23,400 to 23,500, that'd be fine. Still lower highs, still a downtrend, but, decent upside decent upside in the short/medium term. Monthly, I'd just be looking at a range, between the 5 and the 21. I don't think you're going to get much other than that, at least for this month. If there's going to be a breakout or breakdown, that would be more of an April thing, I think. Anyways, wait, what? Oh, Jesus, now they're coming in. William Valadez says, great stream, Krown. Removing news catalyst. Anything you like about Filecoin chart right now? Okay, that's actually a really good question. Okay, so I can remove that bias, according to you. I can remove it for the sake of this analysis, but not. but I'm not removing it. Okay, so you are at the same lows as September of last year, September of 2023, and December of 2022. Yes, you do have a downtrend. Yes, long-term, very awful, very bad, very, very nasty. Don't think that this thing will ever get back above its 2021 high. But can you have a bounce in the short term? What time frame are you looking at? You didn't give me time frame, so... even the daily right here, this is ugly as fuck. If it does get another pump up, I don't think you get past $4.50. It's lower highs the whole way through, though. The real question to me is, are you going to get another bounce like this, or like this, or like this? The result is the same every time. They all fail. This thing's just been failing since 2021. So to me, that's a very, very bad sign. But can you get a bounce here off of some bullish divergence on the daily? I guess, yeah. You are also at those prior major lows. But I do think that your bounce is limited, and I don't think it's going to be a reversal or nothing like that. And again, with tomorrow's event in the horizon, if it does want to break down, that'd be a good time for it. But yeah, if it does pump back up, 4.5, I think $5 at most. Or sorry, let me actually adjust that. It has been finding these highs around the 55, and that is actually much higher at $7, but... I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable just giving a target out like that. I think high probability you get $4.50 on a bounce, but I wouldn't be trusting these bounces. These bounces ain't loyal. Emmanuel Lucas says Ethereum Classic. Yeah, we can do that. It's interesting that people are interested in this one, but who am I to judge? Coming off of, I'm on a 2-week chart. Coming off the weekly 377, that's exactly where you found your lows back last year. It's kind of similar to the last one. Well, it's actually not similar to the last one because this one has had an uptrend, or at least retested prior highs. I do think you're probably going to bounce here over the coming weeks. Do you have bullish evidence? You do have bullish evidence on the daily time frame. Do I think you're going to break out, to new yearly highs from here? or to new 2024 highs. I don't know about that, but I do think short term you probably have a little bit more on this bounce. But I don't think that this is the bounce that's going to carry on to heaven or anything like that. I think, wherever it finds its high, it's going to be coming back down to these lows. I don't think it's ready just yet, because even when this thing has had, pretty impressive bounces, it's put in multiple months at that base low, like you saw here in 2024 and like you saw here in 2023. So I'd be more inclined to say that this one still spends some more time around the lows, then bounces, come back to it after that. But, could easily bounce to 25, 26 bucks. Maybe even like 29 if things get really, really crazy. It doesn't really do too much for it long term. I mean, this thing absolutely needs to prove itself on a higher high, which it's failed to do since 2021 as well, actually. But it did retest the prior high, at least from 2024. So better than the last one that we saw. All right. Correlation with 2021 levels in time. I mean, I don't know anything about that, man. I'll just be looking at these past lows over here, and you probably got to bounce from there. I think it's going to take some time. Hubris of God says Bitcoin dominance. When is going to break? Well, break in which direction? As I've been saying for a long time, I don't think this is the best chart to be looking at for what people want, but. I was right in calling a top over here, but wrong in calling continuation to new lows from here. And this thing just reversed and continued on with its massive fucking uptrend. Have to be bullish on a chart like this, but I don't think that spells doom for all alts. I think you're still going to see the strong alts continue to rally, but there's so many fucking coins in this space now that the Bitcoin dominance should naturally go up, just because most of those coins are completely fucking irrelevant. So they shouldn't really be included in a calculation like this. I think, as always, if you are going to be looking at altcoins, you want to look at the altcoin Bitcoin pairing during bull markets, just because that's going to be a better gauge of when you actually have something in your favor, rather than this chart, because this is including too much bullshit here, at least in my opinion. Super Googly, what's up, man? It's been a long time. Any thoughts on Hang Seng Index, HSI, 1 hour and 4 hour? Okay, very low time frames. Let's check it out. Well, the monthly, I like it. I certainly like it for more up, but that's a monthly. 4 hour time frame, nice trend to the upside. Yes, you're going to find a local high probably relatively soon. Just close them, yeah. You're probably going to find a local high relatively soon, but this is an uptrend. It's, if it comes back down to like 23,900 or 23,880, that would be fine. Fine, meaning that, I'd be looking for a higher low around there. But I do really want to acknowledge that all higher term timeframes are showing like a real reversal here. So for me, the hourly and 4 hour, are trending right here, but those higher term timeframes are really showing you the real direction. But the problem is that even if those higher term timeframes continue on, massively on a bounce, I do think you're going to be finding, again, high relatively soon in the short term, come back down, whether that's 24 on the 24K on the most optimistic projections, or maybe a little bit lower than that, below 24. I'd just be looking for a higher low. But again, the obvious thing here is the higher term timeframes. This one has put in a major low. It's put in not in just a major low, but a macro low. Like, very fucking important. And it's just freshly breaking out this month as well, which is really, really impressive. All right, let's see if I can pin that. Okay, nice. You take another sip of this. Yeah, we'll do all the super chats up until this point, but nothing after this point. My voice is starting to be a little bit crackly now. Anyways, William Valadez says, appreciate it, Krown. I was seeing the same 4 to 4.5, not looking for a long. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if that's what you're looking for, I do think you're probably going to get that move. But it's I always just have to temper myself, because I understand that a lot of people are looking for like the fucking moonshot move, and I don't think that that's what's happening. Precious says, any thoughts about hedging risk off between 95 to 103 in case we get a lower high and return to risk on above 103 for long-term hodl stack? Okay, so the perspective here is a long-term hodl stack. So we can just go to this chart right here. And you're saying, would I wait until 103, until Bitcoin reclaims 103? if you want to be super, super, super safe, I would say 102.5. I personally don't think it's necessary to wait until that. I think in my most conservative case, I would say Friday, the 21st of February is high. It's basically $100,000. If you could close above there, that would be pretty obvious. But personally, I would look at it as very, very, very significant if Bitcoin did close above Sunday's high. So for me, that's enough. If you want to be more conservative, I would say $100,000. If you want to be ultra conservative, which I don't think is actually warranted here, it would be 102.5 to me. But we're kind of thinking in the same direction. And these need to be on closures, by the way, above Sunday's high, which is 95,000 and change on a closing basis. That would be pretty fucking important to me. For me, that would be enough. I can understand why someone would wait till $100,000, but above there, I think you're being cautious for little reward. So yeah. But it also does depend upon how you've traded this up until now, how long term you're really thinking. These questions I'm making assumptions on, but that would be my sort of take without knowing them. ZZ says ENA, general analysis. Okay. This is, I think, Arthur Haynes, like baby coin or something like that. I know that he likes to pump this one. Don't fucking like it. But just like we've seen a few other times today, whenever you come back down and retest around a significant, in this case, trending higher low, you're very likely to bounce there. I mean, that's obviously what it's doing right here. I do think that this bounce could carry on till 55 cents, somewhere around there is fine. You're seeing bullish divergence form on the daily stochastic oscillator. You're also seeing it cross up above 38.5 cents with upside momentum. So, I do think it's more likely to bounce a little bit from here, but I don't like shit like this long term. I guess the hoping is that it puts in like a real macro low here, trades sideways for a while, and then fills it back up. I guess I don't see that happen too often. Not that it's impossible, but I mean that's actually what Sui did, but it is the exception to the rule typically. So for this thing, I do think it's going to bounce here. Any bounce that fails to get back above 75 cents is just that, a bounce to me, at least over the long term. But yeah, it could easily get to 55 cents, give or take a little bit from that on a bounce. I don't think it's going to break through this prior low on its first test or anything like that. If it is going to break, it probably spends a lot of time going sideways here first. So that's what I'd be saying about that. Of course, coming into tomorrow's event, though, do have to anticipate there might be another retest of the lows. If there is going to be a breakdown, I guess that would be it. That would be it for me. But yeah. Afan Abdullah says, "Hey Krown, can you please let me know if quantum wave bands support TradingView on mobile?" Yeah, I mean you can use it on your mobile if your phone, if you're using TradingView on there. It's just you're gonna have a really small screen, so it's gonna be hard to see shit. But hey, some people love doing shit with their phone, so if that's you, then yeah, it will work there. It's just it's like trying to read super small font in a book, and you're like, what the fuck is that? I don't understand. Yeah. All right. Dare Bear says, just cashing big on RSR and Ondo just because I bought during to drop this week. Easy money. I don't understand. Thanks for the comment, I guess. I think that was just like a statement, not really a question, but that's cool. I'm happy for you, Dare Bear. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Alchemist always has nice positive messages. Trump depression incoming. Enjoy. Yeah, I think this guy's. I think he's been identified as one of the Trump's definitely supporter who keeps on leaving comments in my videos. Like, imagine that you log onto YouTube on a video that's not about Trump or anything like that, and then you just spew whatever your current hatred is of Trump for that day. It's like, okay, thanks for the engagement, I guess, but you're very mentally healthy, sir. He might be Finnish, says Elsa. Maybe not. Doesn't really have a Finnish name, but fair enough. Anyways, I think that's where we'll leave things for today. I'll be signing off on that note. Yeah. I think that's TDS really is a good explainer. And look, I'm very much in the middle with a lot of these things. I think that there's TDS and then there's the equivalent on the right side, the woke right, if you want to call it that. I think that these people are fucking mongoloids as well, but they're both mongoloids. They're both fucking mongoloids. That's my point. If you're from Mongol, you're a mongoloid. No, they're both from Mongolia. No, kidding. Okay, kidding. Terrible joke to be making, but yeah, man, that's where we're gonna leave things for today before I say anything more stupid, because my brain ain't working too well while I'm recovering from whatever flu, illness, whatever it could be. But yeah, we'll end things on that note. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think it's gonna be a lot more of an exciting and an interesting day. Today is kind of more of a wait around day, a range day, and hopefully we have some new to look at by the end of tomorrow. So yeah, as always.